Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, it's looking like Skydive Myrtle Beach has a case. The Lynx NGT-9000 transponder is upgraded. NASA balloon to circle the globe a lot. I'm Bree Cross. It's March 9th, 2016, and this is Airborne Unlimited. As ANN has previously reported, Skydive Myrtle Beach, a skydiving operation located on the Myrtle Beach Grandstand Airport, was shut down by the Horry County Department of Airports. Horry County alleged that the FAA had cited the operation for 112 safety violations. However, the Department of Airports was unable to provide proof of the alleged violations. A Freedom of Information Act request was made to the FAA by Skydive Myrtle Beach to provide documentation of violations that the skydiving operation says they were not aware of. After a lengthy delay and what is reported to have been intercession by U.S. Congressman Tim Rice, documents finally presented by the FAA contained no proof of any alleged violations. The reports indicate that in 2 cases, Yelp reviews were cited. Myrtle Beach Grandstand Airport is federally funded, and skydiving falls under the FAA definition of being a recognized aerial activity. Recognized aerial activities must be allowed under the FAA Funding Assurance Plan criteria unless extenuating circumstances related to safety are substantiated. Skydive Myrtle Beach has filed a lawsuit against Horry County and the Department of Airports for illegally shutting down its business. The FAA has granted TSO authorization to L-3 Aviation Products for the additional capabilities of a Class B embedded terrain awareness warning system option and an ADS-B traffic advisory system or alerting option on its Lynx NGT-9000. The newly added features are software upgrades to the existing Lynx NGT-9000 operating system. The terrain warning option adds an additional screen to the display, highlighting terrain surrounding the aircraft to provide pilots with a Class B terrain warning solution where mandated. The Lynx Traffic Alert Advisory option announces the range, bearing, and relative altitude of intruder aircraft through the cockpit audio system. Pilots will hear warnings such as traffic, 3 o'clock high, 2 miles. This aids the pilot in referencing where an approaching aircraft is located, allowing a heads-up approach to identifying traffic threats. The Lynx NGT-9000 is an ADS-B touchscreen transponder that is also capable of displaying traffic and weather data. After the break, ballooned afloat at 110,000 feet for 100 days.
Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Welcome back. If you would like to be a supporter of Airborne Unlimited, send an email to jim@aero-news.net. After years of tests and development, NASA's balloon program team is on the cusp of expanding the envelope in high-altitude, heavy-lift ballooning with its super-pressure balloon technology. NASA's scientific balloon experts are in New Zealand, prepping for the 4th flight of an 18.8 million cubic foot balloon, with the ambitious goal of achieving an ultra-long duration flight of up to 100 days at mid-latitudes. Launch of the pumpkin-shaped, football stadium-sized balloon is scheduled for sometime after April 1, 2016. Once launched, the balloon will ascend to a nearly constant float altitude of 110,000 feet. The balloon will travel eastward carrying a 2,260-pound payload consisting of tracking, communications, and scientific instruments. NASA expects the balloon to circumnavigate the globe once every 1 to 3 weeks, depending on wind speeds in the stratosphere. Up to 100 days at float could shatter the current flight duration record of 54 days, which occurred over Antarctica in 2009. With some 2,000 Aero-TV programs webcast to cyberspace, Sometimes it can be fun to look back and enjoy some of the places we've seen, the flyers we've met, and the planes we've flown. Here's a look at one of our favorite Aero-TV classic episodes.
Well, you know, as we talked about it back in Oshkosh, we took the best of the Coyote and the best of the Courier, and we only had to create 15% of a new airplane, which turned out to be about 100% of the problem, but we got it done.
In this video, you'll see how the Rands Aircraft Company has taken the best of their Model S6 and S7 airplanes and combined them into a new airplane called the S20 Raven. Tube and rag construction still provides a great way to end up with a highly versatile light sport aircraft. Search Rands S20 Raven on Aero-TV's news channel. After these messages, Hartzell's 5-bladed prop for high-end Pipers.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing some other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. The FAA has granted a supplemental type certificate to Hartzell Propeller for a 5-blade composite propeller designed for the Piper aircraft Meridian and Piper's new M500. Hartzell says the new composite prop boosts climb rate while decreasing noise. Teamster pilots voted last week to approve a new 5-year contract at GoJet Airlines by a nearly 2-to-1 margin. There are over 520 members in the bargaining unit covered by the agreement. The union says this is an outstanding contract. Airbus Group CEO Tom Enders joined with the flight test team for the Airbus Perlan Mission 2 this weekend as the program starts with pressurized flights. The Perlan 2 glider is designed to soar to 90,000 feet as it researches high-altitude flight. 6 instructors have renewed their Master Instructor designation through Master Instructors LLC in the month of February. They are James L. Stover, Douglas Stewart, Michael L. Phillips, Lonnie L. Hilkmeyer, Pavis Dara, and John J. Dahl. United Airlines fleet update continues as they announced an order to purchase 25 new Boeing 737-700 aircraft. The order is in addition to the previously announced order of 40 737-700s. Delivery of the aircraft will begin at the end of 2017. Well, that's the trip around the patch. Now let's move on to the rest of the news. The FAA has issued a notification concerning the unapproved status of the Ameri-King Corporation parts and articles. The FAA has determined Ameri-King sold or distributed parts and articles for installation on FAA type certificated aircraft which did not conform to an approved design but were represented as FAA approved. On December 28, 2015, the FAA issued an emergency cease and desist order to Ameri-King terminating their FAA approved status. The order requires Ameri-King to immediately stop manufacturing, selling, and distributing any parts and articles for installation on FAA type certificated aircraft. Prohibited activities also include advertising, repairing, rebuilding, and altering any articles intended for installation on type certificated products. The FAA also says it appears Ameri-King may be continuing to produce parts and articles represented as FAA approved despite the emergency cease and desist order. The FAA warns that any parts or component produced and distributed after December 28, 2015 should not be installed on U.S. type certificated aircraft. They also indicated concerns that products produced before December 28, 2015 are suspect to non-compliance with FAA approval. Well, that's our program for today. Remember to get comprehensive real-time 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily Monday through Friday with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. Please join us and a growing roster of over 100 outstanding industry associations and organizations every weekday for the best in aviation and aerospace news from the staff of the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource.